You know, there are times where I see something in wrestling that shocks me, and it takes a lot to shock me. This week was one of those weeks. I'm sure many of you saw the video from the OVW show on Thursday night. They were streaming their weekly Rise series, and during the main event, one wrestler came off the top rope with a phenomenal forearm to the heel, whose name is Tony Evans. And Evans pulled the referee in the way. He pulled referee Dallas Edwards into the line of fire. That was the planned spot, and he took the shot. But in doing so, Edwards smacked the back of his head very hard on the mat, and he immediately started going into convulsions. You could see his body seizing up. And the wrestler who nailed him was right there looking down at him, practically on top of him, and could clearly see, something wasn't right. Didn't think to say anything. And they just continued to wrestle around his body as he laid there twitching. And that was bad enough. But then Evans, he grabs Edwards by his pants while his body is stiffened up and he is convulsing on the mat. And he rolls him out of the way, even using his foot to push him aside so that he could hit a shitty back fist to one of the other wrestlers. All right, got to get their shit in. It's the most disgusting thing I've seen in a wrestling ring since the Rajah Jackson incident last year. There's no pleading ignorance on this. If I could tell just watching the video, there's no way the men in the ring didn't know something was wrong. And to continue wrestling around the guy. You know what it reminded me of? Paul Orndorff. At Fall Brawl in 2000, in the dying days of WCW, Orndorff, he was part of a tag match. I know Rey Mysterio was in there, Sean O'Hare. I don't remember who else was in it, but Orndorff gave somebody a pile driver. But when he did, the back of his own head smacked the mat, when he came down, and he was laying there motionless for a long time, while all the idiots in the ring kept wrestling around his body. At least take it outside and let the fucking doctors check on the guy. Nope, show must go on. This was worse because Evans physically rolled him out of the way and booted him away just so he could do his next spot. It's inexcusable. Inexcusable. And finally, they stopped the match and they cut to the announcers and they signed them off the air. Now, OVW released a statement the very next day saying, "Last night during Rise, referee Dallas Edwards, a member of our OVW family, experienced a medical emergency during the broadcast. OVW takes the health and well-being of all of our performers extremely seriously. And as a company, we are all distraught to see an injury to one of our own. Dallas is alert and doing much better. We ask everyone to keep him in your thoughts and prayers and respect his and his family's privacy at this time. We will provide an update as soon as one is available, but in the meantime, we wish Dallas a speedy recovery, and we can't wait until he is back with our OVW family very soon." Saying that you take the health and well-being of your performers extremely seriously and actually demonstrating that are two different things. Now, Sean Ross Sapp shared a statement from Edwards' girlfriend saying, "Please keep Dallas in your thoughts as your day begins. I am not going to provide much more information at this time except to the parties who already know. But last night resulted in a brain injury that is being monitored, and we will continue to be monitored by doctors here. Seeing all the support you guys have already given is amazing, and I didn't want to leave everyone without some kind of update." So then Dallas himself later on posted an update, and this was a couple days ago, to his Facebook page saying, "Hey guys, I know everyone seems to know about the scary incident last night in OVW. I have been evaluated by a hospital and I have a concussion as well as a subdural hematoma, a brain bleed. With that being said, I have made the decision to take some needed time away to get my life and health back in good spirits. I appreciate all of the support everyone has been offering, but as far as money goes, I am grateful to be in a position that I can manage an accident like this. In lieu of donations, I instead implore all of my fellow workers to get some sort of training in assisting another's life. Being in that position before, it's very important to be educated in all scenarios relating to injury or illness in the ring, especially when we're performing. I am not mad at anyone or anything other than the situation as a whole, and that I've been sitting for about 24 hours straight in a hospital. As far as updates go, I am getting a CT scan in the morning, and if that goes well, I will be home. Thank you to everyone who has reached out or stopped by. It means more than any of you know. There was an update yesterday from PW Insider. My understanding is he's still in the hospital. That may be different by the time you listen to this. I hope it is. But as far as I know, he's still there. His mother wasn't as nice about it. The story made the news on their local Fox affiliate, and they interviewed Tammy Edwards, Dallas's mom, who said, "I'm not upset about the bump. Dallas knows how to fall. He has trained to be a wrestler. What I'm concerned about is the lack of preparation OVW had when a medical emergency like this happened. Nobody stopped the match. They are wrestling over the top of my child as he seizes. How do you treat another human being like that?" And watching the video, she says she felt that no one cared about her son and said no one from OVW contacted her to let her know that he was being taken to a hospital. She learned about that from a family friend who was sitting in the crowd. And Louisville, Kentucky Mayor Craig Greenberg has an ownership stake in OVW, but his press secretary, when contacted, issued a statement to the station noting Mayor Greenberg is no longer involved in the operations of OVW. We are, of course, sorry to hear about this injury. Let's distance ourselves as much as possible here from this situation. Didn't have anything to do with me, but we wish him well. Here's hoping he makes a full recovery. I saw one Ring of Honor wrestler say every wrestler who didn't help him and just stood there watching should burn their boots or go back to day one training. I don't think one needs to be properly trained to understand that when you see something like that happening, it's okay to stop play fighting for 5 seconds and make sure the person isn't just selling. If he was, I think he would know enough not to play dead in the middle of the ring, and he would roll away so they can continue the match. That right there should have been a dead giveaway that something was wrong here. It takes 2 seconds to check. And if it's clear that something is wrong, either help the person or throw up a hand sign to let someone with actual medical training intervene. It's not that hard because at that point, no one gives a fuck about your stupid match. This isn't about wrestling training. It's about common fucking sense. Al Snow, who co-owns OVW, he was silent about this other than a Waffle House joke that he tweeted the next morning, and he was getting dragged all over social media, and rightfully so. He finally posted a statement on Saturday that reads as follows. Professional wrestling has always carried an inherent risk of injury for everyone who steps into the ring. On March 12th, during a live OVW television event, Dallas was involved in a planned moment of physical contact with a wrestler that resulted in him suffering a head injury. Traditionally, when an in-ring injury occurs, the referee is the central point of communication, assessment, and decision-making. In this unprecedented situation, the person who would normally make that assessment was the one who needed assistance. That unforeseen breakdown in communication contributed to a delay in stopping the match and concluding the show. We are relieved to hear that Dallas is recovering and receiving the medical care he needs. Our thoughts are with him, and we're hoping for his continued improvement. At OVW, the health and safety of our performers and officials has always been our top priority. We are proud of the standards that we've maintained over the years, but we also recognize that there is always room to strengthen and improve. With that in mind, we are reviewing our existing procedures and updating several of our in-ring and ringside protocols to ensure that we continue to meet the highest expectations for performer safety. These updates include enhanced communication systems, additional referee training, and expanded ringside response measures to help ensure that a situation like this is identified and addressed as quickly as possible. We appreciate the concern and passion from our fans, and we understand the importance of transparency during moments like this. We will continue to share updates when appropriate and ask everyone to keep Dallas in your thoughts as he continues his recovery. Yes, additional referee training after an incident where a referee was incapacitated. That'll be good for the future if someone other than the referee gets hurt and needs help, but that doesn't really apply to this particular situation. But good. They should definitely be working on whatever protocols they had or did not have in place. You want to talk about training? Start with the wrestlers in that match. Dallas is not the only one that should be getting a brain scan.